Welcome. In this tutorial, log on and tour. Your learning goals are to log on to the DSS 100, select a model, run a process model, use navigation methods, and identify screen areas. Exit the simulation and log off.
Logging on. First, start the DSS 100 operator software. The log on screen appears. Before logging on, look at some of your options. The Help menu gives you access to these tutorials, any of the operator's training manuals, or the user's guide. Find instant Simtronic's contact information on the About screen. Next, use one of the 4 built-in accounts, or type in your assigned username and password. The types of user accounts are described in the instructor tutorial, Introduction to Session Manager. The current tutorial will demonstrate an operator trainee type account. The Run Process Model screen opens. The Instructor Help menu has an additional item, Contents. You can read about user accounts and exercises, and how to back up data. We start the process simulation of our choice from here. Simtronic provides a large library of off-the-shelf standard process models, or SPMs, from which to choose. Next, select a process model from the drop-down. The process drop-down list displays all the installed SPMs. Those ending with a 0 are in English units and those ending with a 1 are in metric units. In this tutorial, we select SPM 700, distillation. The exercise drop-down list displays all of the available exercises for this process model. Exercises are provided by Simtronic and can be created by users. Types of exercises are described in the tutorial, Running an exercise. Finally, click Run, with design selected. The design exercise starts the simulator with the initial conditions set to normal operating parameters. The default screen. Your first view of the simulator is normally the schematic display, page 1. Schematics is a category of screen type in the DSS 100. The navigation methods for other categories are the same. If the process schematic is broken down into multiple pages, page 1 contains thumbnails of the remaining pages, and page 2 is an overview screen. Here you see the simulation, up and running. The back and next arrows on the toolbar cycle through the schematic pages. Right-click schematic to jump to the last schematic display. Left-click schematic to return to the thumbnails. You can also use the keyboard to navigate the pages. With your mouse, roll over the keys on the keyboard to learn equivalent keystrokes. Toolbar, and menus. On the toolbar, are buttons for the other simulator categories. Let's take a quick look at each one. Note the button names in the tooltip Help. Next to the Schematics button is the Overview category. This overview is similar to the schematic overview. It is an overview of group screens and is useful for checking alarms and instruments in manual. It shows logical groups of instruments and controllers, and provides navigation links to each group screen. The Group category provides instrument and controller faceplates in easy-to-manage groups. Often a group produces output, such as this feed supply group. The group display shows each controller's current output values. The trend category displays the same groups, except the graph shows process variables over an adjustable period of time. The graph shows color-coded values of other process variables as a percentage of maximum, 0 to 100. For example, the yellow line is the temperature indication of TI-101. The DSS-100 keeps an event log. You can see that the events are related to the simulator runtime, which appears on the toolbar. You can also keep notes in an operator's log and even print from the File menu. Alarms are easy to monitor on the alarm summary display. These categories are each demonstrated in greater detail in a later tutorial. Don't overlook the Help menu, which contains links to manuals, guides, and tutorials. Return to the schematic category. The last page you viewed appears. Each category remembers the last page you viewed. These buttons help you adjust process controller settings, and will be covered in Tutorial G3. They are useful on display pages where you can select a controller faceplate. Process components. Since the tutorials will use the SPM700 process, let's look more closely at the contents of the schematics overview page. It is organized into major distillation function areas: feed, column, overhead product, and bottoms product. The SPM700 distillation column process simulation separates a binary mixture of any two of the paraffin C1 through C8. The default configuration is for hexane C6 and heptane C7. The distillation column feed is pumped through a preheater E101, where its temperature is raised to the optimum temperature of the feed tray. The distillation column C301 is heated with a thermosiphon-type reboiler, E401. The bottoms product is pumped out of the distillation column to a product storage facility. The distillation column vapors are condensed in an overhead condenser E601 and enter a reflux drum, D701. There, the liquid is accumulated. The uncondensed vapors can be vented through a vent line. Reflux pumps draw liquid from the bottom of the reflux drum, and pump part of the liquid back to the distillation column. The balance of the liquid is sent to a product storage facility. Flow is depicted by lines with arrows. Cyan represents piping for flow, connecting pumps, valves, heaters, tanks, coolers, and instruments. Move your mouse over process components to learn more about them. The overview will display a summary of the process. Logging off. To log off the DSS-100, select Exit from the File menu. For operator or technician logons, the event log of your run is saved for instructor inspection. You return to the Run Process Model screen. With a ready status, you may select another exercise or process model. To quit, click Log Off. Then close the Log On window.